I've always been fascinated by horror stories. The thrill of fear and the adrenaline rush that comes with it has always left me wanting more. But I never thought that my fascination would lead me to the ultimate horror experience of my life, a cemetery horror story. It all started with a camping trip with my friends. We were all great fans of horror and decided to explore the nearby cemetery, which was rumored to be haunted. Being the brave and adventurous one, I was the first one to suggest the idea. My friends were hesitant at first, but after some convincing, they finally agreed. As we entered the cemetery, a chill ran down my spine. The air was thick, and the atmosphere was eerily quiet. We made our way through the various graves, adorned with wilted flowers and broken tombstones. The setting was perfect for a horror story. But as we walked further into the cemetery, things started to feel off. The faint sound of footsteps echoed in the distance, and we could hear whispers coming from behind the trees. My friends and I exchanged nervous glances, but we reassured ourselves that it was just our imaginations playing tricks on us. But our fun adventure took a terrifying turn when we stumbled upon a freshly dug grave. It was the only one in the cemetery, and the soil around it was still loose. We cautiously approached the grave, and as we got closer, we noticed something strange. The name on the tombstone was one of my friends' names. Fueled by fear and adrenaline, we started digging frantically, hoping to uncover the truth. And what we found was beyond our worst nightmares. The grave was empty, except for a small box buried deep inside. As we opened the box, we found a journal with handwritten entries that sent a chill down our spines. According to the journal, the cemetery was indeed haunted by a vengeful spirit. The spirit was said to take the form of a young girl who had been buried alive in the cemetery many years ago. Her restless spirit was still lurking around, seeking revenge on anyone who dared to enter her domain. As we read through the journal, we could feel the presence of the vengeful spirit growing stronger, and to our horror, we realized that we had trespassed into her territory. As we frantically tried to leave the cemetery, we could feel her cold, lifeless hands grabbing onto us, trying to drag us into her grave. We all ran in different directions, trying to escape the clutches of the vengeful spirit, but no matter how far we ran, we could still feel her presence following us. It was like she was toying with us, enjoying our terror and fear. In a desperate attempt to escape, I stumbled upon an old mausoleum. Without thinking, I ran inside and slammed the door shut, hoping to find sanctuary. But as I turned around, I saw her, the vengeful spirit standing right in front of me. Her eyes were hollow and her skin was pale, and she let out an ear-piercing shriek. I closed my eyes and braced for the worst, but to my surprise, I felt a hand on my shoulder. It was one of my friends who had also sought refuge in the same mausoleum. Together, we stumbled upon a hidden room inside the mausoleum, which was filled with old artifacts and a strange altar. But before we could make sense of anything, the vengeful spirit appeared again, and this time she wasn't alone. Behind her stood a group of other spirits who were all staring at us with malevolent intent. Through a haze of fear, I managed to make out the words etched on the altar. Sacrifice for the lost souls. It was then that we realized the truth. The vengeful spirit didn't want to harm us. She wanted us to become a part of her army of lost souls. And the only way to do that was through sacrifice. In a moment of clarity, I remembered a line from the journal. The only way to stop her is to give her what she wants. Without hesitation, I stepped forward and offered myself as a sacrifice. The altar started glowing, and the spirits disappeared into the darkness. And just like that, it was over. the vengeful spirit was finally at peace, and we were able to leave the cemetery unscathed. But that experience will always haunt me, reminding me to never underestimate the power of a cemetery horror story.